thinking with Portals is Valve's VP of Marketing, Doug Lombardi. Welcome.
Thank you.
Dr. Lombardi, how are you?
First, before we talk about Portal 2, which is very exciting, we're going to get to that, we want to talk about your big announcement that happened moments ago at the Sony press conference.
Yes.
Okay, so recreate that moment for us.
Well, basically, Gabe came out on stage and announced that we're bringing Portal 2 to the PS3, and it's going to be powered by Steam and Steamworks for automatic updates and a host of other features like Steam community stuff and a bunch of other features that we're hoping to pull together before we launch. And we think that, in the old days, we used to make a disc, send it to the replication plant, and that was sort of the end of our development cycle.
4-week siesta.
And on the PC with Steam, the day that we ship to us is the day we get to work. And what this announcement really means is that we're going to be able to bring that philosophy now to the consoles, to the PlayStation 3. And our belief is that it'll be the best console version because of that. It'll be the most living, breathing, always up to date. When new ideas come up, we'll be able to deploy them right away for gamers to get their hands on.
And when are we going to see this?
Next year.
Next year.
Yes.
Do we have early, late next year, or just next year?
Next year.
All right.
All right, I want to get to Portal 2
Absolutely.
because Portal it holds a very, very special place in my cold black heart. It is the one
Yes,
warm,
absolutely.
bright, shiny spot. But for those who, it's been a while since many have beat the game.
Yep, October 2007.
So tell us, where are we at the story? What's going on with Aperture? Is there cake? Are we still being lied to?
You are still being lied to. You are still at Aperture. You are many lifetimes in the future. You are faced with GLaDOS pretty much right up front, and there's a host of new characters that are basically trying to escape GLaDOS's clutch and get out of Aperture, so they sort of join forces with you and you try to get the hell out of there.
So you're actually going to be playing with other NPCs and combining your abilities, or how's that going to work?
Yeah. Well, there's two parts of the game. There's a single-player portion of the game that is very story-driven, where you'll have other NPCs. There's a personality spear called Wheatley that we're showing here at the show this week, who provides more of the comic relief that made, I think, Portal really special for folks, and also is sort of a buddy character.
Tell me we don't have to incinerate him after we fall in love with him, please.
No spoilers here.
Okay.
And then there's also a two-person co-op game that is the same length as the single-player game. Both of those are twice the length of the original game. So overall, you have 4 times the game. And co-op really came out of the feedback from consumers after the first game came out. They were like, we love it. The number one thing we want to see is some sort of multiplayer component. So that's where the co-op came out of.
And that's important to note that it's not some bolt-on, here's 3 levels that show you co-op. It sounds like you've made a whole campaign.
Yeah, I mean, we've learned a lot from the last couple of years doing Left 4 Dead 1 and 2, and we sort of went into Left 4 Dead 1 with the idea that if you're going to make a co-op game, you have to make a co-op game. You can't make a single-player game and then sort of bolt on, to use your term, a co-op experience. We're going to run you through the single-player again, but we're going to allow you to do it with a buddy. That's sort of the lazy, bogus way to do it. The real way to do it is to build it from the ground up, saying, this is the co-op area, and that's why for Portal 2, we've divided 2 separate, the environments, the story, even the characters you play as in the co-op you're actually 2 robots that you play as. One was made from a turret, and one was made from one of the personality spheres. So they have their own sort of storyline that lives alongside of the main story arc.
So how complicated are some of these puzzles? Because, they got a little complicated in the first one, and you were playing by yourself, and you really understood your own abilities. But how do you, take 2 abilities of 2 different characters and...
Playtesting. The first game was done about a year before we shipped it. Done insofar as the art, the levels, all that kind of stuff. But then we playtested the game every day, 5, 6, 7, 8 people of all different skill sets, literally for a year until we felt we had it right and it was approachable and playable by a wide set of gamers. And with Portal 2, we're going to have to do the same thing, only twice. We're going to have to do it for single player because we have new mechanics for you to use, and then on the multiplayer side because that's all brand new.
Do you foresee this game ending a lot of friendships?
We'll see. We'll see. Hopefully, it spawns as many as it ends.
That's well dodged, sir. Well dodged. And now, when we talk about platforms on the console side of things, Valve is making it very clear the PlayStation 3 is where it's at in terms of the Portal 2 experience. But you're also going to be on the Xbox 360.
You bet.
You're going to be on the PC.
Yep.
And big reminder of that last platform.
The Mac.
The Mac. You guys you're one of the few that happens to be supporting gaming on the Mac. Are you finding that there is an audience for that out there?
Well, I think the big thing about the Mac was finding an avenue to get the games out to customers, right? Retail shelf space for PC games has been shrinking for several years now, and we've seen that business move online, and at least here in the States. And what we saw was a similar situation with the Mac, only that's been existing for a long time,
right,
where it's really, really hard to find Mac software outside of the Apple Store, and even then, the game shelf is rather narrow. So we
And
said,
it's 12 Dora the Explorer titles.
Absolutely.
which, some people love, like me, but not everybody's into. But, so we saw an opportunity with 25 million people connected to Steam. Lots of those people are playing, at work, at lunchtime on a PC, and then
Not
they're
me,
going
though.
home to their iMac or their MacBooks, and, they can't play their games there. So what we saw was not only an opportunity to deliver to people on the Mac, but also introduce Steam Play, which means if you buy the game once, you own it for the PC and the Mac, and then also allow people with Team Fortress 2 and the multiplayer games to play PC versus Mac, so that people that start off on the Mac today enter that pool of tens of thousands of people that are playing TF2 or Counter-Strike when we release it, not this week, but next week for the Mac.
Well, I know you guys always deliver quality. Portal 2 looks like it's not going to be any exception to that rule. Doug, thank you for coming on and showing it off.
Thanks for having me.
Really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
You bet.